Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to another class on communicative English, wherein we are going to talk about report writing. If you remember, yesterday we started with this particular subject, this particular concept, wherein we discussed about the different types of report and then the common essentials. Let us see how many of you were really attentive while the class was going on. Can I get the name of the different reports? If you are writing any report on regular basis, what do you call it as? What kind of report are you going to write? Quickly in the chat box. If you are writing reports on regular basis, what would be the example of it? Like, say, for example, if you are writing about your daily report, or if you're sharing the information with your seniors on weekly basis, what kind of report it would be?
Routine reports, ma'am.
I want it in the chat box, boss. I want it in the chat box. My managers should be smart enough in writing everything in the chat box. You should not unmute your speaker. The video is getting recorded. I don't want any unnecessarily sound to get captured. All right. I'll appreciate. Do not unmute your speaker. I request Shivam Anand to kindly switch off your speaker, dear. Do not unmute your speaker. Thank you, Shivam. Great, great, great. So, Aradhana, it's not research, it's about routine, isn't it? Everybody is writing the right word, routine, very good. But in case if you're writing about certain technical issues and then presenting the report onto it, when you are talking about the technical issues, particularly related to your mobile or laptop, or related to your printer, or related to any of the gadget or machine, if you are talking about the technical issues and then answering that particular issue, what kind of report it would be? Very good, Farid. Yes, it's technical. It's technical report. When you are analyzing the numerical data, whenever you are analyzing the numerical data, when you are presenting the information in the form of table, charts, graph, then what kind of report it would be? When you are talking about numerical data, analyzing the numerical information, yes, the information that can be presented in order to, very good, it is analytical report. Yes, Simran, yes, Shubhamanand, rightly stated here, it is analytical report. When the information is absolutely hidden, you cannot disclose it with others. When you cannot disclose the information, what kind of report will it be? When the information is not disclosed. Very good, Simran, very good, Shubhamanand. Yes, it is confidential report. And this is the last question. Every year, when you share the information, every year, on a regular basis, on yearly basis, when you are sharing the information. Very good, Shivam. Yes, it is annual report. Excellent. So yesterday we have discussed about the different types of report, in which we discussed about routine report, we talked about research report, we talked about investigation report, we discussed about confidential report, we discussed about analytical report, we talked about technical report, and we also analyzed about the annual report. Now, when we talk ahead, we also identified that whenever we are willing to write a good report, if we really want to write a great report, the first thing that we should always keep in our mind is the perspective. The information that we are going to furnish should be correct. So therefore, the facts and figures matters a lot. It has to be presented without any biasness. The information that we are sharing, the analysis that we are doing should reach up to the root cause of the problem. We should not only present our opinion, we should also collect and gather the information and point of view from the others, and all the relevant information. The supportive documents should be attached and enclosed in the form of annexure, which is added at the end. Now, in today's class, we are going to talk about structuring the report. Please remember, when we talk about the structure of the report, service report is again part of your routine report, Naveen. Don't get confused. Services report, whenever you are talking about the service report, it is to be submitted by you every month, isn't it? So when you are working in an organization, if you're working in a team, you have to report your seniors on regular basis based on the number of projects, based on number of assignments, based on number of tasks that they assign you, isn't it? So you should always remember service reports are the part of routine report which you have to furnish every now and then. Now, when you are talking about performance appraisal, that is yearly basis. Now, all the performance appraisals, say for example, based on your performance for one particular year, how much hike, how much incentive, and what is the total percentage of raise that should be given to you, that is again annual. Okay, so keep this in your mind. That is what I said. There can be different names. You should not get confused with the different name. You should know about the purpose. So if you know the purpose, if you can really identify what it is talking about. Say, for example, when you are talking about services, what is it talking about? Is it talking about the performance? Is it talking about the appraisal? Is it talking about the kind of services that you are providing? Again, that can be different. So if you are talking about services report based on the technical issues, then it will be considered as technical report. So don't get confused between the nomenclature of the report. Identify under what category does it fall. So did I clear your doubt, Mr. Naveen Kumar? Please keep this in your mind, dear. Whenever we talk about the reports
Yes,
fall
ma'am.
under, I'll appreciate, I don't want to hear your answers. I want you to chat. Everybody should chat. The response should come through chat box. I'll appreciate. Do not unmute your speaker in the mid of the class. I'll appreciate if you can follow the decorum, because this is the virtual way you people are going to connect. Who knows, in the near future, you people will be working from your home, and you may be working with a number of MNCs. And when you're working with the different organization where their base station or their location is in the other country, so are you going to unmute your speaker and are you going to say or respond to them? That's again not the right way. Virtually, these are the virtual etiquettes that you have to follow. Everybody should understand, when we are attending any of the meeting or attending any online class, the way of interaction would be through chat box. I don't want to hear sorries, because we all are learners. Even I'm learning, you are learning. This is for the first time that we are doing that. This is for the first time that we are practicing. This is for the first time that we are experiencing this kind of learning. So therefore, no need of saying sorry. I'll appreciate if you can follow. Quickly grab this. All right. That is the reason when I say chat. Chat is the way that you are going to share your answers, and I want quick chat. I don't want lengthy sentences. I just want the response in one or single word, so that we get connected with each other. Thank you very much for quickly learning and grabbing this information. God bless you all. Let us move ahead about today's topic, dear. When we talk about today's topic, structuring the report. Structuring the report, as you can see, the first thing that is mentioned is table of content. How many of you have seen index page in the textbook? Index pages in the textbook. If you have seen index page in the textbook, quickly I in the chat box. Very good, Aradhana. That is the quick response. Thank you, everyone. Yes, Shilki, you must have seen the index page. What do you see in the index page? What are the three things that you see in the index page? What are the information that you find on the index pages? Very good. It is the content. Yes, the content relates to three different things, isn't it? Name of the chapter. Very good, Simran. Yes, page number is there. It talks about chapter, and it also talks about the sub-chapters, isn't it? Units, subunits, topic. Very good. The details of the different topic will be mentioned under the index page. This index page is also known as table of content. So whenever you are hearing table of content, you should remember we all are talking about index page. Don't get confused when somebody says what that you have to draw, you have to present a table of content. Don't get confused. Table of content talks about all the other information that is there, either in the presentation or in the book or in the report or in the proposal. That brief of it would be mentioned initially in the front of that particular report or project or proposal. That is called as table of content. So when we talk about table of content, though we are presenting it initially, but this particular part, table of content, will be drafted by us at the end. Can you draw a table of content without doing all the rest of the activities? Say, for example, when I talk about executive summary or background study or objective or study methodology, finding observation, recommendation. No, Rightly stated by Divya Prakash and Ranveer Nana, no, it is not possible. Reason is very simple. We don't know from which page number to which page number I will be able to present my summary. From which page to which page will I be able to present the background of study? In which page number will I be able to present the objective? Study methodology, how many pages will it take? Finding an observation, in how many pages are these information will run? Nobody knows. So therefore, though it is mentioned over here, though it is stated initially, but this is to be collected and presented at the end. Is this concept clear? Then comes executive summary. Executive summary is the brief of the complete report. Say if your report is of 90 pages, if your report is of 999 pages, or if your report is more than 1000 pages, do you think people are going to read 1000 pages? No. What are they going to read? They will read only the executive summary. So I want everybody to understand why we are focusing or emphasizing on report writing. The same concepts are told and taught even at BBA and BCA level, but there is a difference between management and graduation. When we talk about graduation, it is a concept which is a part and parcel of their curriculum. But when it comes to management students, this is part of your day-to-day life. Even when you are presenting, even when you are writing your assignment, even when you are presenting your project, the first thing that you have to mention is summary. What do we understand by summary? Summary says the brief information of your assignment, brief information of your project, brief information about your report. It will be only in some limited words, could be 500, sometimes only in 200, sometimes even in 100 words. So keep this in your mind when you are creating the gist, G-I-S-T, gist. When I say gist means in short, in a very crispy language, in a very lucid, in a very clear and in a common words with the 3S that we have always practiced. Short, simple, straightforward with all necessary information. When we write it in just a couple of paragraphs about all the details related to project, that is called as summary. So whenever you are summarizing, you should remember, don't include unwanted information. Don't include repetition of information. Say for example, you have said something and again you are saying the same meaning of the sentence but with different words. That should not be done in summary. No explanations should be there with the help of examples. So whenever we talk about summary, you should remember precise writing. Do you remember precise writing? Have you done any activities related to precise writing? Maybe in Hindi, maybe in other languages. But have you taken up any kind of activity or were you told and taught in your class 10th, 11th or 12th or during your graduation about precise writing? Quickly in the chat box, do you know what is precise? Precise, precise. Precise means in short, right? There can be a lengthy paragraph which you may have to cut short. How do you cut short? You avoid unwanted words, you avoid repetition of sentence, you also avoid unnecessary explanation. So same thing you have to even apply when you're talking about summary. So your executive summary will elevate or will motivate the reader to read the complete report. Always remember, if you want to create a good impression on the mind of the reader, it has to be done with the help of your summary. Summary are also known as abstract. Many a times you will see or you will hear people talking about abstract. So don't get confused if people say you have to present an abstract. In fact, they are asking you to prepare a summary. So please remember, another word, another name for this particular word summary is abstract. Abstract or summary creates a good impression on the mind of reader. So whenever you are writing summary or abstract, it should be precisely written. Avoid repetition of sentences. Unnecessary or irrelevant information should be struck. Even the words that you are using should be easy, simple to understand. Now, executive summary, like table of content, even this will be prepared only after the end of the complete report. Unless and until you will not write the complete report, how will you come to know what is to be included, what not to be included? So I stated two things. First, table of content, which will be written at the end, absolutely end. And prior to writing table of content, we prepare executive summary or abstract. These create a good impact on the reader. That is the reason it is also called as elevator speech, because it elevates, it creates enthusiasm, it creates anxiety among the reader to read more. All right. So always remember that enthusiasm, that anxiety should be generated by the managers even when you're writing your answers. I don't know how many of you, while taking up the exams, you might have heard your parents saying that start with that particular answer which is known to you in a better way, isn't it? They might have told you many a times, they might have instructed you many a times. They say that, look, always take up the assignment, take up the questions which are known to you in a better way. Why are they asking you to do that? Because by reading that particular answer, the examiner, the one who is correcting your paper, he or she will have that idea that, wow, this child knows the answers in a better way. The student is really good in answering the question. So that is what the first impression is all about. And same kind of first impression should be created even when you are drafting the executive summary. So are these two concepts clear? Table of content and executive summary. If you are clear and if you have no doubts, write ND in the chat box. ND, no doubt. In case if you have doubt, don't hesitate in sharing your doubts in the chat box. I would love to clear them. Thank you for receiving all those NDs. Can we move ahead with another topic, which is now which talks about or which actually initiates the report writing? Background study or background of the study. Now, whenever we talk about background, it could be related to different fields. Say, for example, when we are doing research, if you are launching a new product, you all are management students. You know that every now and then, because of technology, we are changing the way we are presenting the products or services. We can launch it on social media sites. We can launch it with the help of our website. We can launch it publicly. We can launch it before giving it to the public in the form of sample. We can share it in the form of sample. We can share it in the form of free complimentary copies, isn't it? There can be different ways in which we can collect the information so that people will come to know about the background of that particular organization. So please remember, whenever we are talking about the background study, we should know what is it that we are talking about. What is it that we are willing to do? What is it that we are having our thought on? Say, for example, if I'm talking about my company, do I know about my company, who the founder is, when it was started, who are the founders, what is the total net worth, what is its profit margin, even if it was related to like the segments into which they are into. Say, for example, am I into service sector, or am I into secondary, that is manufacturing, or am I into primary, related to agricultural product? So the background is very important. One should know about the background. Similarly, when we talk about you as a candidate, when you're talking about yourself, you should know about your background. Unless and until you don't know about your background, how are you going to create that right pitch? How are you going to create that right enthusiasm within you? So please make sure that you should identify the right understanding about the background. If it is research based, what is it that we are going to research? Is it related to the company? Is it related to technology? Is it related to product? Or is it related to service? If we are talking about routine, the routine will also have certain background. Am I presenting monthly report? Am I presenting project report? Am I presenting team report? What is it that I'm talking about? So that issue related to perspective. If you remember, in the essentials, we have discussed about issues related to the perspective. What is it that we are thinking about? That will help us to create that clarity in our mind related to background. So it could be related to company, it could be related to product, it could be related to services, it could be related to the new awareness or promotion or advertisement, could be many things. So background should be clear. The next is objective. Please remember, every report will have some or the other objective. Why are you writing this report? What is the reason behind writing this report? That is the objective of the study. After your internship, you will all will be asked to submit a report. What is the need to submit the report? Because during those 2 months' time, that is in the month of May or June, when everybody will be doing your internship, in those 60 days, what is it that you have learned? What is it that you have explored? What is it that you have experienced? Did you do any kind of experiments? Did you share any kind of ideas or thoughts with your seniors? So all that will be captured in that particular report. So there has to be a clarity in your mind related to objective. When we say objective, you can call it as goal, you can call it as aim, you can call it as purpose. So the purpose behind writing the report, the aim of writing the report, the goal that you want to achieve by writing the report, or the objective should be clearly identified. Once when we have the clarity related to objective, then we identify our study methodology. When we say study methodology, please remember, it could be quantitative, it could be qualitative. I want everyone to write down these two words quickly in the chat box. Quantitative, qualitative. Why am I asking you to write it down? I'll explain it in detail. I am waiting for your responses quickly in the chat box. Simran, very good. I see you writing quantitative. I'm waiting for the another word, qualitative. Good, Shubham. Thank you, Sunny Kumari. Thanks, Divya Prakash. Thanks, Silky. Thanks, Jyotsna. Please remember, whenever you are presenting any information in numerical form, the data that you present in numerical form, which can be presented either in the form of table, charts, graph, which can be analyzed. Say, for example, when we were talking about the reports, if you remember, I explained in detail about analytical report. And when we were talking about analytical report, we discussed analysis is done based on the numerical information. And when we say numerical information and when these data are presented, the data that is presented based on the data that is collected. So please remember that would be quantitative. Now, quality, as the word itself says, whenever you are talking about quantity, it is talking in numbers, isn't it? 1 kg, 2 kg, 1 liter, 2 liter, 1 meter, 2 meter, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, these all are quantitative. But when we say quality, good or bad, isn't it? So when you say quality, you always express it in words. You always express it in sentences. You always try to connect the sentences and convert it into paragraph. So please remember, qualitative, there can be two different methodologies of presenting your information. Could be quantitative or qualitative. But always remember, a report will be a combination of qualitative and quantitative. Sometimes in some reports, qualitative will be 30%, quantitative would be 70%. In certain reports, quantitative would be 70-80% and qualitative would be 20%. But no way you can say that I will present only qualitative report or I will present only the quantitative report. It is an amalgamation. It's a cooperation between the thoughts that you are having, both related to quantity as well as quality, that you're going to present in your report. So the methodology that you're going to opt would be a combination of qualitative plus quantitative. I hope everybody could understand the method that you are going to adopt in order to share the information. What is the methodology that you're going to use will be presented under the next segment after the objective of study. All right. Then comes the next. You started doing lots of data, you started collecting lots of information. All those information, all those observations will be written under the next segment called finding and observation. Please remember, maximum pages of report will be captured or will capture the information related to findings and observation. So if you're talking about any report, background study may take 5 to 10 pages or 12 pages. Objective of the study will take only a page. Study methodology, as you are identifying whether it is quantitative or qualitative, may take 1 or 2 pages. But when we talk about findings and observation, these will run in a number of pages. There will be more than 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, maybe 200, all these number of pages wherein you are identifying the different problem areas, the different problem statement. How do you reach up to the answer? That is, what are the ways in which you can bring up the solution, you can present the solution, and what will be the way that you are going to adapt the solution or adopt the solution. These will be mentioned under the segment finding and observation. Is this clear with everyone? Say, for example, when you are talking about the election, the result of Bihar election. Now, the executive summary will be in one paragraph. Background of study, they are going to talk about state like Bihar, when it got separated from Jharkhand, how many number of political parties are there. Then the objective of the study, to know about the result, about the polls or about the election of Bihar, particularly for the position of chief minister. Then what is the study methodology, both qualitative and quantitative. Then when we start findings and observation, you will see there was neck to neck competition. There was cutthroat competition between two big parties. Can you remember, and do you remember the name of the two parties between which the competition was really neck to neck? Cutthroat competition was there between dash and dash. Who were the two parties? Can I come to know the name of the two parties which had a cutthroat competition? Quickly. Oh, nobody recalls. Very good, Shubham. Yes, it was BJP and RJD. Very good. So when we talk about BJP and RJD, it was neck to neck competition, and because of that competition, you will see once again it is Janata Dal United which was able to come to the power. But in case if BJP, if you eliminate BJP, what would have been the picture of Bihar election? Avoid, eliminate. If you minus BJP from JDU, who would have become the chief minister of Bihar? Will the picture remains the same? What we are seeing, what we are witnessing right now, or will you see somebody else sworn in as chief minister of Bihar? Right? Of course, you will see some other person taking up the position, a new chief minister, and other party becoming the ruling party. Right, dear? So please keep this in your mind that when we try to find the reasons, there can be number of reasons. When we try to find out the observation, there can be multiple number of observations that could be identified and made, right? So please remember, finding an observation is the key element. If you're talking about this, this is the complete study of your report. The complete study or the details of the report would be mentioned under the segment finding and observation, followed by recommendation, which is also called as conclusion. Many a times we conclude, many a times we share our recommendations, many a times we share our opinion with alternative opinion, what others are thinking, what is your opinion. That would be covered under the segment recommendation. And finally, annexures. Please remember, annexures are all the supportive documents that you're going to include in order to prove that your report is a genuine one. Say, for example, when you are talking about finding, you had visited all the different districts of Bihar. Do you remember what are the total number of districts in Bihar? Do you all really know the number of districts in Bihar? Right? What is the total number of districts in Bihar? Quickly in the chat box. Let me see who's going to respond me the first. Yes? What are the total number of districts in Bihar? 38. Now, all the 38 districts, do you think the population is same? Is the population in all the 38 districts remains same, dear? No. Do you think in every district there were same kind of problems? Same kind of problem in all the district? No, isn't it? So you have to really do a lot of finding. You have to really do a lot of survey and research. Similarly, people, they say that there are no jobs in Bihar. Again, this is a wrong, this is a false information. In fact, if a state is developing or if a state is underdeveloped, which is on the pace of development, you will see more number of opportunities in such states. So if somebody says that Bihar, there are no job opportunities, they are living in myth. There are n number of job opportunities in Bihar. Now, these n number of job opportunities could be in what kind of segment? Could be in services, could be in manufacturing, could be in primary, which could be converted into agro-based industries. So you have to remember this. Then you have to find out if you are really keen to become an entrepreneur, if you all are having the spirit to become an entrepreneur, what is it that you have to find? You have to do a proper research based report and you have to do that complete study on which district the opportunities are more. Where can you find the labor at a desirable or reasonable cost, where you can afford the labor? What about the resources? Which are the places where you will be able to find the resources? Where to set up your unit? Where to start your functioning? So you have to keep lot many things in your mind, and all these things would be done under the segment finding and observation. Finally, you are going to conclude, and all the data that you are going to present related to finding, observation, everything will be included under annexure. So as I was asking about 38 districts, you will create a table and you will present about all the 38 districts in one single table, and then you will write your observation. But the data that you have collected from all the 38 districts, that will be included under the segment annexure. If somebody asks, in table number 1, you said that Darbhanga is a place where development is not at all happening, or very less scope of development is there. So do you agree or do you disagree? So you must have all the relevant information with you. So that information will be there included under the annexure, which are also called as supportive documents. Please remember, all the supportive documents will be included under the segment annexure. So to give you a brief, though we start writing the report by collecting background, identifying the objective, knowing our study methodology, sharing the finding and observation, concluding and then sharing the recommendation, and with supportive documents. After doing these, we write our executive summary, and at the end, we present the table of content. Once when this is done, we will be able to identify what is it that we have to do and what not we have to avoid and eliminate. So moving ahead to the next slide, which talks about the next important thing related to finding and observation. Keep this in your mind. We were talking about findings, right? We were talking about observation. When you are into the step of finding and observation, it is the tedious task, toughest task. Why do we call it as toughest? Because when you are collecting information, there is plethora of information. You will be surprised to see the information that you start collecting, and then you don't know, you get confused what to add, what not to add. Say for example, one single information, if I ask you to search which website is mostly visited by people, which website is mostly visited by people, you will see a list of websites. Why? Because BBA people or BCA students or BSc students or MBBS students or BTech students or the students who are pursuing the other segments or stream, particularly when I talk about PGDM students. Now, there can be different opinion, there can be different understanding, and everybody is going to search some different websites. Now, why they are watching or why they are viewing or why they are reviewing the different websites? Because their interest area varies from one person to the other. Now, similarly, if I talk about finding information, same thing happens when you are working in a team. In a team, if there are 6 people, each one of you will find information from different areas. You have to pool the information, and once when you pool the information, you have to clean it. You have to really sanitize the information. How can you sanitize the information? By evaluating, by judging what to include in your report, what to include in your project, what is it that is important, what is it that is unimportant. So you are going to divide. If there are lots of information pooled by you, gathered by you, after gathering the information, you have to clean it, you have to sanitize it, you have to identify and bifurcate what is required and what is not required. Whatever is required, you will move it to the next line, that is called as processing. Even when you process, you will see there will be lots of information which is not required at all, so you are going to eliminate it. You have to keep these 3 things in your mind, because most of the time when you people are asked to write information, how many of you have submitted your project report in your graduation time, during your graduation studies? How many of you have submitted project report to your teachers or assignment to your teacher? Most of you, isn't it? Did you write it in your own words, or was that plagiar, was that copied from the different websites? When you are copying it from the different websites, what is it that we do? The biggest error, the biggest mistake that we all commit is we find the information without evaluating, without processing, we just share it. You copy it, you paste it, isn't it? And because of that copy paste, what happens? We are committing cyber crime. Keep this in your mind. Whenever you are writing any report, you have to clean it. That is the reason. Remember the word sanitize. Remember the word clean. Whenever you are using some information from some other sources, you have to find the source. You have to evaluate what is it that is important for me and what is it that is not important. Then whatever is important, you have to process in your own words. You cannot copy and paste the same information, which I have seen generally students doing. Whatever is equivalent or relevant, what you do? You copy and paste. Unknowingly, you are part of cybercrime. You are not following intellectual property right. So, as a student of management, you should remember all these, because very soon, in next 6 months' time, once when you finish off your second and third trimester, you all will be asked to work as interns, and the college is going to provide you the facility of internship. Now, once when you are joining as interns, when you are working as interns for 60 days, you are working sincerely, and if you are working sincerely, every day you should collect information, evaluate information, process information so that you can present it in your report. If you are not processing it after 60 days, if you think that let me find out whatever the things that I have done, you cannot even recall 10 or 20% of the information that you could have done on regular basis. So keep this in your mind. Finding information, very easy task, because there is no dearth of information, there is no shortage of information. But after finding information, it is very important to clean it, to sanitize it, to evaluate what is required, what is not required. Based on that, you have to process in your own words, you have to write the information, you have to share the information in your own words, otherwise it's a part of cybercrime. So keep this in your mind as the management students. Unless and until you don't give value to findings and observation and writing the information in your own words, you are not going to create that right impression on the mind of readers. That's all in today's class. Please remember and focus on the structure of report which was discussed today. Remember that whenever we talk about the structure of the report, it is very important that the information that you are sharing should be right, should be correct. As I have already stated, the essentials of good report writing states appropriate facts and figures. It also says maintain judicial approach. You cannot copy, you cannot paste others' information. You have to be very sensitive. You have to really think, consider twice and thrice whenever you are sharing information. Is it your own effort or are you copying or pasting somebody else's information? That's all in today's class. We are going to talk about the next part. That is when we are talking about finding an observation. Of course, we require lots of data. How do we collect the data? From where can we collect the data? What are the ways in which the data could be collected? This will be detailed in tomorrow's class. I hope everybody could understand the three important things. Point one, the different types of report. Point two, the essentials of good report writing. And point three, how can we write a good report? What is the basic structure of the report? That's all in today's class. I'll appreciate if you can really revise it on regular basis. Have a wonderful day, dear. And don't forget to revise. Please note down all the important points on a piece of paper so that always you have the information handy with you. Take care of yourself. Goodbye to everyone. And thank you very much to all the students